Jimmy. Jimmy. Jim James, son!
Well, I'm at the junkyard again, and back at this Corolla. I know you guys saw me say a few minutes ago, hey, I'm gonna go order a new carburetor online. Well, I did that, and you can guess how it went. I don't need to go any further into the word chinesium, but I think you get it. So, there's the carburetor off this one. It looks like a good carburetor. I also got this valve for the carburetor seal area because the mechanic who was inspecting the carburetor the first time that I took it to earlier in the video actually broke this piece and then tried to blame it on me. So thanks guys, you're not getting my business anymore. But you can clearly tell that this vehicle's head is very clean and the carburetor was quite easy to remove, which tells me with almost 300,000 miles that somebody at some point has probably been in this carburetor. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this thing home and see what I can do with it. So just for quick reference, this is the carburetor I got from the junkyard. This is the one I ordered from a company called Max Peating Rods. That's right, Max Peating Rods. I hear people wax poetic about these on YouTube, and they're like, hey, today guys, I bought this Max Peating Rods carburetor from China, and it's perfect, and it basically cured my cancer. So I decided I would try one, and well, we know how the story goes. Tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme, whatever. Probably got that backwards. 2 vacuum ports and an escape port, along with what I would call the big chungus of electrical plugs. And we look on this one, a single vacuum port with a block-off plate, clearly the wrong plug, and a number of other discrepancies. So say it with me, boys and girls, you get what you pay for. So I'm gonna go look this thing over, take all the screws that somebody was nice enough to block off everything with, and then install it on the Corolla. It's been a few hours now. I've removed and labeled every single vacuum line, and then also, I don't know if you can see on the new carburetor, I have marked each and every vacuum location with a pen mark. The only one that is different is this X here, because this has 1, 2, 3 ports, and this one only has 1 and 2. So I'm gonna have to swap those 2 things, whatever the hell they are, and they should just plop right down in there. Well, the carb is out, and man, oh manatee.
Locate Dr. Manatee. He's been on this stupid PA the whole time.
There was an absolute ton of vacuum lines, among other things. Now, I've already probably noticed about a dozen differences between this carburetor and the other. For instance, this one has some kind of thing here, like a bushing. I don't know why that took so long for me to spit that out. Also, this does not have a secondary arm on it like this one does. There's just a bunch of differences. We'll swap all the parts over and maybe I'll show you, maybe I won't. But what I found down here, well, the natives are mad that I have stolen the heart of the Nile, and they're coming after me, you see. I don't know if you can see this. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. Do you see that wire that's been completely and utterly crispified and burned completely through? That attaches to this lower backing plate. That also attaches to this wire down here, which when I went to go look at what was going on, was fucking cut and disconnected. So something tells me, throughout the years, nobody really noticed that a bunch of plugs had come unplugged, that a bunch of wires had melted, and a bunch of other problems had occurred. See, this is how this little plate should look. Not all burnt, but with actual wiring still attached. So all I'm gonna have to do is pull this up like that. So this is future Jimmy doing a little bit of reading in that book that came with the car. And apparently that thing is called the cold mixture heater. I think that's misspelled. I think that's supposed to say mixture, cold mixture heater. But just as well, when I looked up cold mixture heater, you can find veritably nothing on it. You're definitely not going to find one for sale, that's for sure, so what I have has to work. Here's the old carburetor, and here's the new carburetor. I basically just have to remove this bracket here, along with this device, and this thing here. And then I have to attach it to this one. And I also have to take all the wiring off of this one, all the way from up here, and remove that and attach it to this one because clearly the plugs are different on this one. So it's not going to be too hard, but I do have a few things to switch over.
Troubleshooting carburation problems for some technicians can be very frustrating at times. In this program, we will attempt to simplify that process and separate carburation problems from other engine-related problems that appear to be carb-related and are not. The Tecumseh Carburetor Troubleshooting Book and Mechanic's Manual can be a good source of information to zero in on problems. Sometimes the expert home technician has fine-tuned his unit in the garage at home, and the repair is as simple as correcting his repair job.
So I managed to get all the parts from the old carburetor onto the new carburetor. Bushings, springs, screws, everything fit. I had a great time. I'm really thrilled about that. However, the next problem arises when we get to this exhaust manifold bracket. You can see there are two holes here for the air mixture sensor, whatever they call it, the cold air mixture sensor. And these two holes allow coolant to come up through a passageway and into an emissions device. So on this emissions device, which is like a PCV, hose, emissions something, I don't know how to explain it. Even when you cross-reference these numbers online, these part numbers, they don't go to anything. I can't find any mention of these cold air mixture things that aren't in that book. Luckily I have that book or I'd be fucked right now. So this thing is completely and utterly melted. You see that? There's no way that it's usable. It must have caught fire or something. The problem is, and that's fine, but the problem is this one here and this one here do not match. Do you see the holes here and the no holes here and this bent piece? So unfortunately this, if I were to put this onto this, would allow coolant to shoot straight out through that unblocked port, which is not feasible. So I can't use this piece. And since I can't find another piece, I've had to find a creative solution to fixing this problem, which just basically involves tearing this piece here completely out, tearing this piece completely out, and swapping the two over. Now this is kind of getting ridiculous, so this is definitely solidifying my thought that there will be no more carburetors for me in the future. Well, I cleaned the lower gasket surface for the carburetor and put the new lower gasket on, so it's nice and shiny now. And I also have the upper gasket here for the carburetor and the new fixed Frankenstein sensor, which is a mixture of the two incompatible sensors, which has the new wiring that comes out this side and has been properly prepped and cleaned. So now it will work. So now all I gotta do is put this on, and then I have to put the gasket on top of that, and then I have to go get the carburetor that I partially rebuilt and stick that on top. Well, the new carb is in. I just have to mount it down with the bolts and put all the vacuum lines back and reassemble everything now, basically. All right, well, there you go, man. And listen to this. Ready? It's idling a little high and it's gonna need some adjustment, but I think we have just about done it. I am so happy right now. I've never worked on a carburetor before in my life, but you know, it was definitely something of a learning experience, that's for sure. Well, it's completely warmed up now. I'm gonna have to keep adjusting the idle here and there. I've never adjusted a carburetor, so I'm sure it's gonna take a while. But you can see when I put it in reverse, the idle drops. Neutral. Sounds a little too high, but I think if I just back it a little bit this way, it should be okay. And then drive is where it sounds good. You hear that? Most importantly, it's running on all 4 cylinders. So I think we can call that one carburetor at least repaired. We have no leakage, I checked, of coolant or fuel. So we're holding liquids. We have a running vehicle, and I'm pretty happy right now. So yeah, I didn't think I was gonna be able to do this, personally. I thought, you know, maybe I'll just give up halfway through. But after that, reading that book a few times and really just going back and looking at everything, I'm in the end, happy to say that this thing is completed. Otherwise, this thing would have gone straight to the junkyard. So the only thing I really have to do is paint those back rims. I need to fix a small leak in this radiator that's coming from right there. There's a little gasket that's gone bad and it's just letting it drip. So that's where the guy's coolant was going when he said he couldn't find out where the coolant was going. And I have a few other small things to do, like putting the washer bottle back in and putting seat covers on. But the mechanicals, for now, have been sorted at least. Well, it drives absolutely perfect. The new front tires really sorted out that horrible noise in the front end. And the steering wheel doesn't pull or shake at all anymore. And with that new carburetor on there, it drives real smooth. There's power. And hopefully with that coolant leak fix that was in the radiator that only needed like a little gasket, that was a 10-cent fix. So now it's running and driving. To say I do love it. So here is how easy it starts now. Ready? No gas pedal, no nothing. That's it. Starts right up, runs on all 4 cylinders. Everything's working. I have not tested the air conditioner yet. I already think it doesn't. It actually works! No way! Oh man. That is fucking ridiculous. It works! Well, alright then. Anyway, that's awesome. So, you know, this is gonna do it for the mechanical section. You can see I put these nice seat covers on. Ooh, just like a Taliban taxi cab. Looks real nice now. I've got this kind of just pieced back together for now until I can find a replacement, if I can find a replacement. And I gotta put all this back in, but not before I go ahead and vacuum the inside of this nasty car out. I've already cleaned this up, so it'll go back in pretty soon. You can hear it's running real good. So now it's on to cleaning up the interior and to finish up the cosmetics. Don't worry, I didn't forget. We're still gonna look in the trunk. I'm there right now. So what we have, what have we won, basically? We've won a lovely sunshade, probably from the year 1996 or so, completely crinkled and destroyed by the sun. But who cares? I'll take it. A half-empty bottle of Prestone concentrate coolant. Must add water. Half full, maybe a little less. I guess the owner was just pouring the coolant into the radiator, you know, thinking the head gasket was bad, not realizing it would just immediately pour out the bottom. We also have this thing, which is like a clip-on, hey, there's me, hello me. It's like a, what do you call it? Like a clip-on for the rearview mirror, the lane changer. Made in Canada in the 80s. Great. This I put in here because this is the new filter. Some semi-matching floor mats, maybe from a Camry or something. Kind of ugly. I actually think this thing still has the spare tire. And it does. Oh yeah, the whole kit is still down here. Nice. That's pretty rare. Even the plastic surround, you know, all of this hasn't been torn out by scoundrels trying to put subwoofers in there. And it looks like there's some stuff over here. There's an old Florida plate. Lake Florida. Is that the lake right there? That's the one. This thing, what is this? Oh yeah, this is the same thing as my Previa. It's like a toolkit bag. Oh, no dead mice. Some mold though, complimentary mold. And I think that's gonna be it for the trunk walk around. Oh, the paint came out pretty good here. I like it. I think it looks pretty nice. It's nice and uniform. There's not much I can do about this bumper. That's just the way it is. But I think it came out pretty nice. You can see I painted the rims. Got some new tires for it. Fixed the hubcaps up. Shined the actual paint up pretty good. You go inside. Smells nice in here. Got these nice fabric seat covers. Interior is pretty clean too. Everything works now, even the air conditioning, surprisingly. Back seats are nice and clean. Trunk lid's nice and clean. Headliner's even intact. See those nice tires I put on it? Shined the paint up as best as I could. I still need to put one hubcap on this corner, but it came out pretty nice. It runs pretty good, drives pretty good. I got it to idle. It took a few hours to adjust, but I eventually got it. I like this car. I might keep it for a while, who knows? But that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you next time.